Hey guys, Magnus here, bringing you another Walking Dead character video. This time we will be looking at a dude from Season 4, the second in command of Martinez's river campsite camp and brother to Mitch, Dolgen. Of course, this is Pete Dolgen. Pete is of course male. He is played by Envar Jokai. He is mid-30s and first appeared in Dead Weight. Before the outbreak, Pete was born after his older brother Mitch. He at some point enlisted in the army and was stationed at Fort Benning. He remained there when the outbreak began, but soon it began to fall, so he met up with his brother. They took their tank, and they soon found a camp where they were met with Martinez and Shumpert. It's unclear who joined first, if it was the Dolgen brothers or Martinez and Shumpert, but regardless, Martinez was put in charge and Pete became one of his closest allies. In Season 4, Pete crowds around Martinez and Mitch as they rescue Tara, Lily, the governor, and Megan. Martinez offers him to join, and Mitch thinks that they'll be a burden, to which Pete shuts down, declaring that they have a kid. He goes on a supply run with his brother, the governor, and Martinez. They come across a headless body with a sign saying liar on it. They come across a cabin and 2 more bodies. They try to lure out the zombies, but it sounds like there is some zombies that are stuck. They send the governor first, and Pete and the others follow. Pete is grabbed by a walker and the governor saves him. He then gets a fright when he sees the heads from the 2 headless bodies from earlier under the sofa. At night, the men drink in the cabin. He speculates what happened in the cabin and talks about his past. Pete then returns with the others back at the camp the next day. The day after, Pete and Mitch find Martinez's body, and Pete declares himself a temporary leader, but the camp are not too happy about it. Pete, Mitch, and the governor go on a hunt. He talks about leadership with the governor, and then they stumble upon a camp of people. Pete wants to bring them in, but Mitch says they don't have enough food and proposes robbing them instead. But Pete declares that they should instead leave the camp and find their own supplies. They hunt, but all they get is some squirrels. They go back to the camp and find that it's actually been robbed by an unknown group. Mitch is mad, but Pete tries to think about the people who died. He then watches as his brother angrily kills a dying old man. The next day, the governor visits Pete in his RV, seemingly to talk about Mitch's behaviour. But as they enter the RV, this happens to Pete. Stabbed and strangled by the governor. The governor then drags Pete's body into a lake, ties a cinder block, and dumps him in. Pete turns underwater and he becomes a new version of the governor's fish tank heads. And the governor goes back there and sees his body. To this day, it's very likely that Pete is still a zombie under the water, unless a random-ass survivor put him down for some weird reason. Pete was a cool dude, but he was too good for this world. He was naive and seemed to want to trust anyone, and that's what ultimately and sadly got him killed. Tell me your thoughts on Pete. Did you like him? Did you hate him? And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.